Alright, the second step you'll have to do is going to be assemble and perform a function check on the M9 pistol. For assembly, what we are going to do, you're going to grab the slide, bottom facing up. You're going to take your barrel. You're going to place your barrel, muzzle first, into the barrel groove, and it should drop into place. You want to make sure that this piece falls flat, otherwise it will catch on things. And if it doesn't fall flat, if it's stuck up, just wiggle it around and it'll drop down. Once you've dropped that down, your barrel is secured. You can't pull your barrel out. You're going to take your buffer, spring and buffer. You're going to place spring side into the little recess where it's supposed to fit and slide that buffer in using your thumb. You're going to take your thumb and catch it on that moving piece, and it should sit just like that. Be careful, it will shoot across the field. If you're not paying attention, you can talk to Lieutenant LSCs about that. At which point, you're going to take your trigger assembly and you're going to place this muzzle facing down. Line it up. You're going to see the grooves that run along the trigger assembly, and the back of the M9 slide has very similar cutouts. You're going to take that, line it up, slide it right down. Once you've slid it down, you're going to pull this back just slightly enough that it goes past, and you're going to flick that catch back into position. Once it's there, that's done. Your assembly is done. Next step you're going to do is you're going to move into doing the functions check. So for the functions check, we're going to place that weapon. We're going to make sure it's still on safe. The weapon is clearly still on safe. And what we are going to do is insert the empty magazine. Once the magazine is inserted, you're going to pull the slide to the rear. You're not going to lock it. It should lock on its own because of the magazine that's currently in place. Once you've ensured that the magazine holds the slide to the rear, you're going to drop the magazine using the magazine release. And then you're going to release the slide using the slide release. Once it's gone forward, the next step we're going to do is we're going to check the safety. So you're going to place your hand on the trigger, finger on the trigger, and you're going to squeeze the trigger. Well, two things you were looking for when you squeeze the trigger. You're looking for the hammer not to fall. It did not fall in this case. And you're also looking for the trigger block to move up and down. As you can see, when I squeeze that trigger block moves up and down. Those are the two things you check for with the safety. Once you've done that and you've checked safe, you're going to flick the weapon onto fire. Once it's on fire, we're going to check the double action first. So you will end up squeezing the trigger 2 times for this. Your first time you're going to do, you're going to squeeze. You're going to see the hammer go all the way back. You're going to release, and you should hear the sear reset. Then you're going to squeeze it again and hold the trigger to the rear. Once you've held the trigger to the rear, you'll charge the weapon. The hammer should not fall. As you see, the hammer is now locked back. It will not fall on its own. This is single action. You're going to release the trigger, hear the click, squeeze the trigger again, and the hammer should fall. At this point, the function check for the M9 is complete.
You have 45 seconds to complete this part.